Halo Wars is a top-down, real-time strategy game set within the Halo universe. What follows will be a retrospective review of my first time getting hands-on with this video game. I completed this game in January of 2019. The game itself released on the 26th of February 2009 and was released by Ensemble Studios and Microsoft Game Studios. As the first spin-off released under the Halo title, how exactly does Halo Wars hold up on its 10-year anniversary? To tackle that question, we first need to look at the context of Halo Wars. Halo Wars is set 20 years before the events of Halo Combat Evolved, and is designed to immerse players within the heart of the Human Covenant War. This war, as any Halo fan will know, has been brutal, destroying the UNSC Navy and leaving many colony worlds bearing the scars of orbital bombardments and terrestrial invasions. At the heart of this conflict, we join the UNSC Spirit of Fire, attempting to discover Covenant activities on the long-lost colony world of Harvest, the planet where the first engagement of the Covenant War took place in 2525. As the Spirited crew uncover Forerunner artifacts on the planet, we are plunged into an epic story which takes us from Harvest to the industrial colony world of Arcadia, and then onto a strange Forerunner planet which is in fact a SHIELD world, SHIELD 0459. As the Spirit of Fire's crew delve deeper into the mysterious planet, they face not only a slew of hostile Covenant forces, but also one of the most dangerous organisms in the known galaxy. The Flood. So, that kind of encapsulates the story in a real basic nutshell, but how does the gameplay hold up almost 10 years? Well, I am happy to share that for the most part, Halo Wars still plays incredibly well. In terms of optimizing the RTS platform for an Xbox controller, this is done extremely well. The controls are easy to adapt to, and everything from the all units command to the special functions of the leader that you are playing as can be accessed from the press of a button. It is important to note that I am playing the definitive edition on the Xbox One, so this may have received additional optimization, but I can't imagine the controls being worse on the Xbox 360, as that is the console that the game was originally created for, so it would make sense that they would have been optimized for that as well. If you have had a different experience, especially on the Xbox 360, I would be really interested to hear about that in the comments below though, as I'm quite interested to see if there has been an evolutionary change in how the game plays and functions since it first released. Now, a crucial aspect of any RTS game, arguably more than any other video game, is the camera and the way that the camera functions and allows you to control units. In Halo Wars, you get a wide enough field of view that you can see the greater context of the battles your units are fighting, which is really useful for forward planning and encouraging the kind of tactical play that RTS shooters are really all about. I would often zoom out when I was playing and identify key areas, such as Forerunner spires which provide resources or energy, or defensive bastions where my troops could seek shelter, and I would then essentially form protective cordons around the key areas in the map which fighting was taking place in. This was really useful to be able to kind of forward plan, gain in-depth battlefield knowledge, and crucially really kind of immerse the player in that tactical gameplay that you want. It really encourages you to think about your assets that you have at your disposal, where you're placing them, and how you're using them, and that is really kind of the be-all end-all of what you want from a really well-crafted RTS experience. Now, I have briefly mentioned the assets within the game and the resources needed for them, but I must admit, the asset system in this game is something which I really appreciate. The default base in Halo Wars has got 3 slots for building, and when you upgrade this to a combat station you then get 5 slots, with the fortress tier having 7 slots in total. So you can either choose to maybe go for those 3 slots, only get the core fundamentals, capture Forerunner assets to get additional resources and focus on getting your units out, or you can choose to play the long game and actually really build up your base, get supply pads in, get generators in, and really create a more, I suppose, extensive base network. So this is really useful as it really gives you control over what you want to do, where your resources go, and how you want to structure your bases. For me, I found that investing in 3 supply pads at the start was really, really good, as it meant that I could quickly gain an influx of valuable resources, allowing me to build my additional assets quickly and efficiently, which is what I wanted. That's kind of how I play. I want to get a large task force together, I want to get them out there, beating up the Covenant, doing a really good job. On the flip side of this, however, it also left me without defensive capabilities at times, meaning that I would need to build turrets when I upgraded my base before I could actually invest in any deployable units. So I would find myself upgrading my base, investing a lot of resources and assets into my base, and actually then leaving it exposed because I didn't actually have any ground units to defend my base. So that is definitely something to consider. The way that you can manage and juggle your assets and your resources is really, really well done here, however, and it is also complemented very, very nicely by the fact that there is a whole breadth and depth of different resources and units on offer for you to access and deploy in battle. So, as I just touched on, there is a wide variety of units available, and you first begin to see this when you look at the different building modules that you can create. There are a handful of main options here, ranging from reactors, supply pads, air pads, vehicle depots, barracks, and also field armories. All of these kind of do what they say on the tin, apart from the field armory, which essentially provides you with additional upgrades for your units. So one of the most important things here could be upgrading bases turrets so they are bigger and able to defend the base more reliably. Again, you know, for my kind of playstyle, providing additional defense when there's no units nearby. Now, in terms of the actual unit variety itself, you find you have a commonplace assortment of pieces, although they may interchange during the missions you play. For example, some missions may allow you to only deploy Scorpions, Cobras, and Wolverines, all of which are ground-based artillery units. Other missions, however, focus on airborne units, providing us with fast vehicles like the Sparrowhawk and the Hornet. There isn't much variety in units per se, but the way the missions are structured encourages you to dip into all the different units and play with a lot of different variety in the levels themselves. You'll be given different units available to you at different times, so it really encourages you to break your kind of consistent playstyle and experiment with different things, you know, deploy new units, test out air units if you've mainly been using ground vehicles, and I think that that's really one of the core strengths of the game. It really encourages you to engage with all the different core pillars of the game, try them out, give them a go, and see how they work for you, and that I think is crucial. So as I've just said, this really is Halo Wars' core strength. Not only are the missions immersive, but they are incredibly varied for an RTS, encouraging you to utilise different units and different approaches. One of my favourite tactics became building a strong base and saving up to mobilise massive units like the Vulture. But these units do take time. As such, I often found myself rushing to deploy quicker response units like the Cobra and the Scorpion during missions with a time limit. The variety of mission structure here really is fantastic, as it really encourages you to experiment with new techniques and make use of the full toolbox you have as a commander. I also appreciated the variance in level design and available units. On missions where you are defending the Spirit of Fire itself, for example, you gain access to Sparrowhawks and Cyclopses, units which do not typically appear elsewhere in the campaign. Having this variety really helped to make the missions feel distinct, and this, combined with the gripping story and incredibly well-crafted cutscenes, kept me immersed the entire time. I wanted to smash through missions to unlock the next beautiful cutscene and experience it on the big screen. So, as you can probably tell, Halo Wars has a lot of good. Genuinely, the only issue I encountered during my entire playthrough was the AI. Sometimes the AI don't quite execute orders correctly, getting stuck on the spot. Or they can be facing against large enemy forces and not respond until you actively tell them to, leading to units taking needless damage. This did not necessarily become an issue, although I did have an elephant get stuck on the mission where you escort the slipspace drive, which was a pain as I had to use up my mat gun ability to destroy the elephant and then deploy another. This was frustrating, and it just again added to, the kind of tedious nature of that mission where it took me a lot longer to get things done. It is, however, worth noting that these core issues with the AI were few and far between, and I do think that they held up well considering it is a game which is now entering its 10th year on the game market. For its 10th year in production, it really does not have issues that are that noticeable, and I think it still plays as a thoroughly enjoyable and immersive experience. So, overall, Halo Wars is a fantastic game, and it still holds up well in the modern climate, providing a fantastic story and a well-designed and well-optimized RTS experience for console players. If you're a fan of Halo who enjoys the first-person gameplay, I still think that Halo Wars is a game for you. It gives you a sense of scale and allows you to partake in massive battles, which FPS titles can only ever really achieve in cutscenes. Here you get sequences akin to that iconic tip of the spear cutscene from Halo Reach, but you actually get to play through that as opposed to watching it in a cutscene. That alone is a testament to the fantastic work Ensemble did with Halo Wars, creating a game which has a strong and well-defined identity, which I believe still lives up to it today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd be incredibly grateful if you could like, comment and share around, and stay tuned guys because I would absolutely love to do more videos like this in the future. For now, thanks for taking the time out to watch this, and I hope that wherever you are, you have a fantastic week.